Hello Sagittarius, this is going to be your August reading. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you for coming back to sit with me for a little while. There are still some planets that are retrograding in August, so you may want to check your chart and see how that is affecting you. Sagittarius, let's get right to it. I know the past couple of months have been interesting for everyone. All right, my loves. Some knowledge coming in, but nothing that you were too excited about. Something bringing you a bit of maybe intuitive knowledge, or perhaps some news that you were waiting on, but it sort of brings you a little bit of sweet and sour emotion. I think it's forcing you to choose between some opportunities that this could be a job, it could be business, it could even be something within your family where it's a nice opportunity, but it also forces you to choose. So for instance, you know, you get a nice business opportunity, but it forces you away from your family for long periods of time. It could also force you out of areas of your company where, you know, you may have been laying down roots for a couple of years, establishing yourself, and now this business opportunity forces you to start all over again, but maybe the pay grade is higher. You know, if this is a relationship, you know, this could be putting you, let's have a little clarity here. You know, you may be allowed into another gate with this person. They may be opening up to you, but it pushes you into a situation where you have to close a portion of yourself down emotionally. So it's a give and take, but it's a really big give for what you get in return. I hope I'm explaining that in a way that makes sense. Also, when you close this part of yourself down to get what it is that you want to receive, you may have to put a really big part of your ego aside and sort of take a lot of, this requires you to also take a lot of someone else's, again, so let's just use the example of a job. You know, you go into this job and maybe you have a boss where they have a sharp tongue and you're sort of taking this from them. But every other part of the job is so valuable to you, maybe again the pay, the location and everything, that you are just sort of eating it every day from this boss who really does not have great communication skills, and you perceive them to be kind of a jerk. Again, if you're led into this new part of your partner or maybe family member, there's some thing on the end of this situation, there's some end goal to you that you really feel is so valuable that you're willing to go through all of these hoops, all of these gateways, but there's a lot in between that you are going to have to go through, and you're willing to do that. this person that you're dealing with, if this is a lover, if this is a business person, they have a sort of greedy attitude about giving this to you. They are not going to just hand it over. They have all of these hoops set up for you, and they are going to make you jump through every single one of them. And you, if you're not aware, you are going to become very aware sometime in August of the sacrifices you are going to have to make to get to this end goal. That may be putting your friends on hold, that may be putting your family on hold. And this is you somewhere in the middle of August getting into this contemplative state about, is this worth it? How bad do I want this thing? How bad do I want this relationship? How bad do I want this business opportunity? How bad do I want this career opportunity? And you have a lot of nights and days really thinking about, do I want this? Somewhere in the end of August and going into September, this idea about this thing, whatever it is, if it's an idea, if it's a business, if it's an entrepreneurship, if it's a person, if this is a relationship that's gone through, you know, ups and downs, or this person comes in and comes out, it goes through a death and a sort of resurrection. You get fed up, you have a lot of doubts, and then it comes back in your mind. You go through this period where you're like, forget it, I'm done, I don't think this is worth it, and then you say, no, I think it is. So you go through this really hard roller coaster ride. Somewhere around the end of the summer, the beginning of fall, where you're thinking, I can do this, I've been through hard times. If it's a relationship, you're thinking, we've been through hard times, I can do this. If it's a business matter, you're thinking, you know, forget it, I can do this. Because something comes in, you're feeling you've seen a sign, or you get a little break in the clouds, and it just gives you a resurgence of energy. So there is something else though here. Be careful. Be careful, because there is someone else in the wings, and the person on the other side of this who we talked about before, this could even be a second person. They may not be so good at managing this matter as you are. So again, let me clarify what I mean by that. The person running the business, or the people that are involved in the business. So this could be another coworker, or the person running the business may not have the vision you do. So if you're sacrificing everything for a business that won't be around in a year because these people are not great at running a business, you need to think about that. If you are an ambitious partner in love and you are sacrificing everything for this person, and they are not built of the same thing, that could be problematic, because then it's not a matter of whether you have what it takes, it's a matter of what if they have what it takes. And if you're giving your all, and then somewhere down the line they fall apart, it leaves you in a very bad position. So while you are doing your thinking at the end of the summer, you may want to examine not yourself, Sagittarius, because I think you know at the end of the summer when you're doing all of this thinking, what you may want to examine is if you are giving your all to the right types of people and concerning yourself with if they have what it takes to go the long haul. Because if you don't, it will be problematic. And if you do, it could change your world for the better or for the worse. I typically don't like to explain every single card in my spread. I just don't think it's necessary. I think if you don't read cards, it's pointless. If you do read cards, everyone interprets them a different way. But I will put these two together because I think they're fairly self-explanatory. This obviously doesn't look very pleasant, and this one talks about the world. So I think, again, these two cards together obviously look like something could potentially not be pleasant. You have the Wheel of Fortune coming up twice. And without making the reading so long that no one can tolerate watching. So what I can tell you right off the bat is this is a clarification about what I just discussed. This other person having the strength or the vision to match yours. And what I can tell you what I feel based on just these few cards that we pulled is that there's a question mark here and potentially a problem. On their end. Now remember what I say in all the readings, only you know. No reader has more knowledge than you do. Intuitively, if you come to any reading, it's because you know that a situation needs more clarity. Everything will line up for a time. But then there's some kind of a disagreement. There's some kind of a disagreement later on in this situation where you're not in alignment anymore. And there is a sort of a crossroads where it's so big where you can't avoid it. You really come to this point where you know that you either have to cut this thing off or change it so drastically that it's not something you can just work with the person and continue on. This is not just a conversation. It's too big. That's what you're looking at from the end of the summer through mid-fall. You have remain positive, take action, and peaceful resolution. I don't see this person fighting you because I think they are also aware that there are problems. But you should have a plan B, Sagittarius. You should have a plan B somewhere. You should have an exit plan ready. And I think you in your heart know that something is just not as it should be. So Sagittarius, this was your reading for August. As always, leave some type of interaction. I love hearing how you're doing. Leave a like or leave a comment. I respond to all of them. I love knowing how you're doing. I love knowing that you're staying well, that you're taking care of yourself. As always, I wish you all of the best throughout every month that you're on your journey. Stay well, guard yourself. Take care.